Hello.
Yeah, hi guys.
Hi, Alan. Hi, Harold.
Yeah, hello. Where are we holding? We're on
6B, the bottom.
6B at the bottom. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
6B at the bottom. I will do that.
Your son was at the side of town yesterday, huh? Shabbos?
Yeah, he was invited to someone for a birthday party.
Oh, okay, good. 'Cause
Yeah,
he came
why not?
we came for Mincha here. We had a big minion for Mincha.
Oh, at your house?
Every Shabbos, so we had about 50 people yesterday.
Did you give him a discount?
No, but I gave him Cohen.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, his father was a Kohen.
Is that why? Oh, I thought he paid for it. Yeah, yeah. You said the bracha really good. You taught him well.
What, he made hamotzi?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Were you in town for Shabbos? You were away?
No, I'm out in the desert.
Do you have a minion there, by the way?
Yeah, the Chabad is about a half-hour walk.
Oh, okay, that's
The
good.
weather was very nice.
Yeah, it's summer though. In the summer, it must be hot to walk, huh?
It was no, it was about 70 was the high, so it was perfect.
What
In the
about the summer?
summer's a problem, yeah.
Yeah, summer's a problem. Yeah. All right. Okay.
I do it, but not
Yeah.
easy.
Make your own Chabad now, close by.
Well, there's 3 Chabads here, so we go to the one in Rancho Mirage. The one in Palm Springs, they're very busy there. In the wintertime, all the Satmar Hasidim come.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You have competition there, huh?
Exactly. And it's funny because usually the Lubavitch and Satmar don't get along,
Right.
but I think the Satmar must pay big bucks to use the shul. They
Oh,
must
they have their own.
because they give them free reign. They can use the entire shul, whatever they want.
Do they have their own minion then?
Yeah, Satmar has their own minion, and the Lubavitch daven like on the outside.
Oh,
Satmar takes over the whole shul.
really?
There's like hundreds of them. It's crazy.
Wow. You give a big kiddush afterwards too?
I know. I was never there on
Oh, okay.
Shabbos.
Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah.
Hello, where is our fearless leader? Hello, Harold. Hello.
Hello. Where is Ernie?
Okay.
It was supposed to be 5, and we changed it to 5:15 because we just came home from Mincha. There he is.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
Hi, Ernie.
Me?
Hi, Ernie.
So we're on Zion Amud Aleph. Megillah, Zion Amud Aleph, 7. The Itzrich lemichtiv Hashenis, the Itzrich lemichtiv b'chol shana v'shana. Even b'chol shana v'shana avamina kikushin. Because we had 2 things. It could have been the order closest to Shvat instead of the order closest to Nisan. So therefore, I needed to say Kamash Malan Hashenis. It always has to be the second month in terms of when we read the Megillah. The Yashmin and Hashenis Havamina Batchila Barishon Uvashen. I would have thought that Lechatchila you have to read the Megillah both on the first order and the second order. Kamash Malan, no. Choshana V'Shana that you only read it on the second order. Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yossi Hashenis Mayavidle. What does he do with Hashenis? The boy Rav Shmuel Bar Yehuda. Rav Shmuel Bar Yehuda Baschila Kavua B'Shushan. That means there was a 2-stage takana for Purim. Initially, the Simchas Purim was only in Shushan. Well, Vasof, when they sent the second letter, Purim Hashenis, they declared it for the whole world. Rav Shmuel Bar Yehuda Shalchala Esther L'Chachamim Kivuni L'Doiris. Esther sent a message to the Chacham, established this yontif for Doiris. Shalchula, so they sent back, Kina at Moirer Salem Lebena Umois. If we declare the celebration, the Umas Olam are going to be jealous of us. It's going to cause more persecution. Shalchalem Kwar Ksuvan Yal Divrei Yomim Malchei Modai for us. they already recorded this victory in the chronicles of the Persian kings, so it's already known. Rav Chanina, Rav Yochanan, Rav Chaviva Masnu, that Bekula Seder Moyed, Kol Ki Zuga Chiluf Rav Yochanan, Ma'al Rav Yonasan. This group of Amiroim, Rav Chanina, Rav Yochanan, Rav Chaviva, whenever this group is mentioned, you have to remove Rav Yochanan and put Rav Yonasan in his place. Shalch Alayhem Esther L'Chachamim, Kisfuni L'Doiros. You should write Purim in Ksuvim. Shalch Lo Kasati L'Cha Shalishim. Shalishim V'Lo Ribeim. It's already written 3 times. It's written in Sefer Shmos, right? After the battle with Amalek. And then it's written Parsha Zachor in Kisei Tzei. And it's written by Nevi'im, by Shaul HaMelech. So we only have permission to write it 3 times, not 4 times. Ad shemotzlo mikro kosev b'Torah ksoiv zois zikaron b'sefer. Ksoiv zois masha kosev kan uve Mishnah Torah. So the 2 places that it's written about Amalek in the Torah is considered one. Zikaron masha kosev b'Nevi'im. B'sefer masha kosev b'Megillah in Ksuvim. So we have a raya that there can be a sefer in Ksuvim about Amalek as well. And the Gemara says Ketanoi. There's actually a machlokes Tanoim regarding this. Ksoiv zois, masha kosev kan, which is in Sefer Shmos only. Zikaron masha kosev b'Mishnah Torah, Parsha Zachor. B'sefer masha kosev b'Nevi'im, the Rabbi Yoshua. So Rabbi Yoshua clearly holds that there was no indication for another sefer regarding Amalek in Ksuvim. Rabbi Lezer Madoyoy Oimek Soiv Zois Mashakosov Kan Uve Mishnah Torah. That's considered one. Zikaron Mashakosov B'Nevi'im. B'Sefer Mashakosov B'Megillah. So that issue is a machlokes Tanoim. Amr Yidam Shmuel Esther Einem Etamis Yadayim. Megillah Esther does not have Kedushas Sefer. Chazal made a takana for the 24 books that were canonized to be in Tanakh, that if you touch them, your hands are tameh. There's a reason for this, because people used to store their trumas and maasros in the same place that they stored their sforim. We don't want them to do that because the mice will come and damage the scrolls. But according to Shmuel, Esther is not part of Kisvei HaKodesh. Lemeimer de Sover Shmuel Esther la Baruch HaKodesh Nemra. Shmuel hold that Esther was not written Baruch HaKodesh. The Ha'amar Shmuel Esther Baruch HaKodesh Nemra. She did write it Baruch HaKodesh. Nemra likrois v'loy nemra lichtov, meaning it was established Baruch HaKodesh that the Megillah was nikba that way. So we read it, Berabim. But it wasn't spoken in order to be written as a Kisvei Kodesh. That the letters would have Kedushas Kisvei Kodesh. Beisvei. Last year, Kasha. Rameir Oimer, Koheles, Eina Metame Esayadayim. Rameir holds that Koheles, written by Shlomo Melech, is not part of Kisvei Kodesh. Umachloikes b'Shir Hashirim. Regarding whether Shir Hashirim is in Tanakh, that's a machlokes. Rabbi Yossi Yomer Shir Hashirim Tamis Yadayim, a machlokes beKoheles. Rabbi Shimon Omer Koheles mikule beishamim mechume beisilal. What the status of Koheles is, Beis Hillel says it's metame, and Beis Shammai says it's not. Aval Rus v'Shir Hashirim v'Esther metamim sayadayim. And so Shmuel, who said is Esther Eina Metamis Yadayim, is holding like Rabbi Yeshua, like the Tanakam of the Brisa we just learned. Who Damak Rabbi Yeshua? Tanya Rabbi Shimon ben Nas Yomer Koheles Eina Metamis Yadayim. It's only Chachma. Amru lo Zubel Vadomar. What? It's only Chochma, it's not Ruach HaKodesh V'lo Kvan Nemar, Vaydaber Shloisha Salofi Moshel. In Melachim, it says that Shlomo Melech had spoken 3,000 parables. V'oimer al Toisef al Dvarov. So we don't know what the V'oimer is. My V'oimer. If he takes Mei Ben Tuvar Amar, means he said a lot of Mishalim. Some were meant to be written, some were not meant to be written. Tosma al Tosef al Dvarav Tanya Rabbi Eliezer Oimer. Oh, Tosma al Tosef al Dvarav. Don't write more than what he said, but there are some things that was said Baruch HaKodesh, and we paskin like Reb Shimon that all of these books have Kedusha Sifrei Kisvei HaKodesh, and they're Metame the Yadayim, including Koheles, including Esther. Tanya Rabbi Eliezer Esther Baruch HaKodesh Nemra. They're going to bring us proofs that Esther, Megillah Esther was said Baruch HaKodesh. Nemar, Vayomer Haman Belibo. Right? Haman said to himself, well, who is Achashverosh going to honor more than me? Well, how do we know what Haman said it to himself? It must be Baruch HaKodesh. Rabbi Kiva Omer Esther Baruch HaKodesh Nemar Shenemar Vatihi Esther Noises Chen Beinei Chol Roeh. Well, how do we know that everyone who saw Esther, she was Noises Chen? It's got to be because it's Baruch HaKodesh. Meir Omer Esther Baruch HaKodesh Nemar Shenemar Vayivada Davar LaMordechai. Right? The case of Bigson Vaseresh. How did Mordechai find out about it? Must be Baruch HaKodesh. Rabbi Yossi ben Dermaskis Oimer, Esther Baruch HaKodesh Nemar, Shenemar, Uvaviza lo sholchos yodam, that throughout the various kingdoms where the Jews live, nobody took any booty. How do we know that? Must be Baruch HaKodesh. So Omar Shmuel, you know what? Ihava Hasam, if I would have been there in that discussion, Hava Mina Milsa Dadifa Mikul, I would have mentioned something that was better than all of these. Shenamar Kimu V'Kiblu. Kimu Lamala Masha Kiblu Mata. It was accepted in Shamayim, that which was said by the Chachamim, that it should be a Yontif, and the mitzvahs, and all that. Kimu Lamala Masha Kiblu Mata. That's the greatest proof that it was Baruch HaKodesh. In fact, Omer Rava Lakula Islu Pircha Lavami Dishmu de Leslie Pircha. Rava says all the other ones I could upshlug, I could ask a kasha, except for this last one of Shmuel. Dear Rabbi Eliezer, who said Vayomer Haman Belibo Svarahu. Haman knew he was the second to the king. He figured I'm the person that the Achashverosh is going to think about. V'haiki komafish tuva v'omar, I dated the nafshe ko'omar. That when he went and he said they should bring a levush malchus and all of that, he said that on his own accord. It doesn't have to be Baruch HaKodesh. That which Rabbi Akiva said, which was Vati Esther Noises Chen, Esther was the type of person everyone claimed her. Every ethnicity claimed her. So it was clear that that's why people thought she was Noises Chen, not Ruach HaKodesh. Bahad Rab Meir, when it talked about Vayivada Devar LaMordechai by Bigson Vaseresh, Dilma Pristke Shoder. Maybe he had an intelligence network. I'm sorry. That they were officers, but they spoke a certain language. And Mordechai was the only one who understood that language because he was a member of the Sanhedrin And remember, he's called Mordechai Bilshan. He knew many languages, 70 languages. V'had Rabbi Yossi ben Durmaskis, who said, Babiza lo sholchos yodam, dilma pristike shoder. Maybe there were shluchim that were sent from all the four corners of the Malchus to say that nobody had taken biza. But the Shmuel, kimu v'kiblu vaday leslei pircha. There's no kash on that. Amr v'inainu damri inchi tava chada pilpata charitu memolet sani kari. Sometimes a good spicy pepper is better than a whole basket of bland peppers. Rav Yosef Aramehacha b'mea prima eile lo yavru mitocha Yehudim. That there was a Beruach HaKodesh who said that this yontif will never disappear from Klal Yisrael. But now v'zichram lo Yosef mizara. They'll never forget it. So these are other reasons, perhaps, why we can argue that Esther is said Beruach HaKodesh. Then umatonis lev yoinim. Tony Rav Yosef. Umishloach manos ish l're'eyu. Shtei monos li'ish echad. I'm going to read the Rambam. I'm sorry, I'm going to read the Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim Taf Reish Tzadikei. Chayiv kol adam l'shloch l'chaveiro shtei monos. You have to send to one friend 2 meals, 2 cooked meals. Shalmine Michael or Mashke, either food and drink. Ve'ein dai b'revius or kazayis. Revius or kazayis is not enough. El roy she'itei money. If you got it, the Aruch HaShulchan says you have to give a big money. The yotzi b'dei choyva mishloch monos li'ish echad. Your yotzi mishloch monos to one person. Hamar be'arei zeh meshubach. If you send it to more, it's praiseworthy. Isha chayeves b'mishloch monos ki ish. Woman has the same din. V'roy she'isha tishlach li'isha v'ish li'ish. The Ramah says women should send to women, men should send to men. V'ashalech mos or shart dvarim she'em divrei. If you send money, things that are not food, in yochel l'machran keep bo bayom liknos l'tzarach suda mutter. If you can sell your item or use the money the same day to buy food, that's okay. The Bir Halacha says yeshem sha'af az lo yotza. It's better to send actual food. Let's say somebody gets his food, he lives at somebody's house. He's samach al shulchan chaveiro. So he's pater min adin, but the Magen Avraham says roy sheyach melatzma lishloch. He should still send. By the way, you should know that the Zman of the mitzvah is in the day of Purim, not at night. And the other din is you should do it al yedei shaliach. It's more kovedik to do it al yedei shaliach than do it yourself. To fulfill the concept of mishloach. Back to the Gemara. Matonis lev yoinim. Shtei matonis u'shnei bnei adam. You have to give at least 2 matonis to 2 poor people, meaning 1 matana to an oni and another matana to another oni. Shulchan Aruch says, "Chayiv kadol matzeis b'pur l'fachos shtei matonis matana l'chol oni uvenesina shava pruta yotzi dechavaso." The tzarich lo take mishalo. You have to give your own money. You also have to give this gift b'yom HaPurim, not at night. And you want to be able to do it in time so that the Yoni can use the money on Purim. The Rambam says, Roy laharbois b'matnois aniyim u'mishloch manos. That you should do a lot of it. Rabbi Yehuda Nesiya Shadar Le Rabbi Shaya Atma de Igla Tilsa the Garba de Chamra. Rabbi Yehuda Nesiya sent to Rabbi Shaya a thigh of a calf and a jug of wine. That's how he fulfilled the two foods to one person. Sholach lei, kiyamta ban rabbeinu mishloch banos ish re'eu matonis levyonim. He told him, you're Mekayim 2 mitzvahs in one, because he was also poor. And it was a important matana. So it was both mishloch banos and matonis levyonim. Rabba, Shadar le lemori bar mar biyad Abaya, right? Rabba sent a gift via Abaya as the shaliach. Mole taska de kasba, like a basket full of dates. Umole kasa kimcha davshuna, and like some kind of flour, some parched, roasted, grain. Amrle Abaya, Hashtamer Mary. So now Mary, who's going to be the recipient of this, is going to understand the following sort of colloquialism. Ichaklo malka lehevi, ikula mitzavare lo nachas. That means if a farmer is chosen to be the king, he still wears the basket around his neck. Because Rabbah was a poor man, even though he became the Rosh Hashiva, he sent very simple matanos. And he couldn't send more. So Mary Barmar sent back a basket full of like cinnamon and a basket of these long peppers. These are very expensive. Omer Abai Hashtam Amar, Anoshad Rilechulya Ve'iyushad Lechurfa. I sent you sweet things, and you're sending me back spicy things. Omer Abaya. Kinafik mi beimar habis savana. When I left Rabbah,
Well, what's wrong with sending spicy foods?
it wasn't wrong. It wasn't wrong. It wasn't. It's not. I don't think that's a negative comment that he made, but that there was some kind of colloquial statement that people would make. You send me sweet, I'm sending you back pepper. The first statement was meant to be somewhat of a derogatory statement, but I'm not sure the second one was. So Abaya now says, Kinaf kimi beimar, when I left the house of Rabbah, Rabbah was his Rosh Hashiva who was poor. Havis Savana, I thought I was full, but Kimati lahasam. But when I got to Beis Mori, who was wealthy, Krivuli shisin soy the shismek, that they brought me 60 different like appetizers. The achli behu shisin plugi, and I ate 60 portions. Ubishula basraisa v'korelate sli cater. At the end, they brought me out a special kind of bishul called a roasted kedar. I was so hungry. Uboy lemechet sa basra. I wanted to eat even another plate, meaning he realized he really wasn't fed very well at Rabbah's house, and he had a big hunger afterwards. And Amr Abaya, again, Abaya made a statement. Hainad Amriinchi, Kofin Anya velo yada. A poor person is starving. He doesn't even realize he's starving, because Abaya didn't realize how hungry he was after he left the house of his Rebbe. He thought he was full. Oinami, Rav Chalavisi Mashchiach. Tasty, delicacy things, there's a lot of room for those things. There's always room in your stomach for special dishes.
If you're in a restaurant and they give you a dessert free, you could have room for it. If you have to pay for it, you don't. If it's free, I'll take it, yeah.
Well, here he's talking more about the quality of the food, that you always have room for more quality food. Here he didn't make a comment that it was free. Abaya Baravin, Rav Chanina Baravin, Machalfi Sudisayu Lahadodi. This is a famous Chazal, each one, for example, I would send Harold my Purim Suda, and Harold would send me his Purim Suda. In that way, we were Makayim, the din of Mishloach Manos. He provided food for me, I provided food for him. That's what this Gemara says. There's a chiyuv to get drunk on Purim until you don't know between cursed be Haman and blessed be Mordechai. Rab of Rav Zera, Abdu Sudas Purim Badi Adodi. Rab and Rav Zera did Sudas Purim together. Ibosu, they got drunk. Kam Rabba Shachted Rav Zera. Rabba Shechted Rav Zera. Lemor boy Rachmi Vachia. The next morning, Rabba davened for Rav Zera and restored his life. Lishana, the next year, Rabba said to Rav Zera, Amarle, Nesi Marv, and David Sudas Purim about it. Let's do it again. Amarle, Rav Zera said, Lo b'chol shaita v'shaita misrachish nisa. Just because last year you revived me and the nace happened doesn't mean we can rely on a nace every year. Amar Rava, Sudas Purim sha'achla b'layla, lo yatsa dechavaso. The din of Sudas Purim is in the daytime, not at night. My time, Yemei mishte v'simcha. It says the word Yemei. Rav Ashi Avi Yosef Kamed Rav Kahana. Rav Ashi was sitting in front of Rav Kahana, Noga v'lo Asur Rabbanon. And Rav Kahana was his Rebbe. And it was getting dark. And they were going to come to learn. They hadn't learned. And the Rabbanon hadn't come to the yeshiva yet. Amarle, my time will also Rabbanon. Why haven't the Chachamim come? Dilma treated B'Sudas Purim. Maybe they're still occupied in Sudas Purim. Amarle, v'lava efshar l'mech l'burta. Well, why couldn't they eat it the night of Purim, last night, and not to be mavatel limit Torah today? Didn't you hear the halacha? Sudas Purim shachla b'layla liyatzei dechavaso. You can't be Makayim Sudas Purim at night. Amar Rava hachi. Did Rava say this? Amar le'in. Yeah, he said it. And therefore, Tonim in Arboin Zimnin, he taught him 40 times the same halacha. The Domale Kamad Marach Bekise. Now he had it as if it's in his pocket. Okay, now come the famous Ein Bain Mishnayos. The previous Mishnah we said Ein Bain. There's no difference between other Rishon and other Sheni except for whatever. So the Masechta Megillah is going to continue in this vein. Ein Bain Yontef l'Shabbos elo Oichel Nefesh Bilvad. The various Isurim on Shabbos is the same Yontef and Shabbos. Except Oichel Nefesh, you're allowed to cook on Yontif. Now, we know the punishment is different. For example, on Shabbos, you get skila. And on Yontif, it's only a lav. So the Gemara says, Oichel Nefesh. What about you have to prepare the implements to help you cook? Zev v'zeh shavin. They're also both Shabbos and Yontif. And therefore, Masnisin, like Rabbi Yehuda. Our Mishnah, therefore, is not like Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanya ain't ben Yontif l'Shabbos elo oichel nefesh. Rabbi Yehuda matir af machshir oichel nefesh. Rabbi Yehuda allows you to sort of make to make a kli. If you have to use a certain kli to make a certain food. And you don't have it. You can make the kli on Yontif as well. My time at Tanakama. Amar Kra. Who? Ach asher yachel lechol nefesh, hu levado yaseh lachem. So the Tanakama Darshan's hu v'lo machshirav, the food, not the machshirim. Rav Yehuda, he takes emphasis on lachem. Lachem l'chol tzarcheichem, whatever you need. So if you need to make a kli, you can do it. I v'dichnami aksiv lachem. What does the Tanakama do with lachem? So to make food on Yontif is lachem v'lo l'nochrim. You cannot cook for non-Jews, or lachem v'lo l'klavim, or for your dogs. If you could, you can't cook for them in order to feed them. I v'nichnami haksiv hu. What does Rabbi Yehuda do with the miyud of hu, which means hu v'lo machshira? Ksiv hu ksiv lachem. Kan machshin shefter asos me'erev yontif. So Rabbi Yehuda says, listen, if you can prepare the kli from erev yontif, then in Hanami, you're not permitted to do it on yontif. But kan machshin shefter asos me'erev yontif. If you can't prepare something erev yontif, then you can do it on yontif.
Can we say the savor is because you can't do it before you enter like shchita, because you want it fresh, right?
Yeah,
That's why you can't.
Yeah, but machshira, but shchita you're allowed to do. You're not allowed to prepare a kli.
But I'm saying, but shchita, the reason you do it, they say because you want something fresh. But today with refrigeration, you can prepare, you can shecht it the day before, it still be fresh on Shabbos. So can we say that because of that, we change it? Or is the logic to say the reason that we did it because you it's not the same before Yontif and the day before Yontif and Yontif itself. So
It's not
maybe
the
today
same. It's not the same. Refrigerated meat is not the same as fresh meat. That's how Chazal learned. That's why they allow you to shecht on the same day. So you'd be allowed to do it even in the age of refrigeration.
Okay. I mean, the logic would be, see, because there's no refrigeration, so you can't. That's why you can do it the same day. But maybe you say that you would think that since it's the same thing, I mean, just like we prepare the food before Shabbos,
Yeah, but you prepare a lot of things on Yontif because they're going to be better, even though you could have prepared them before. Not just shchita, all sorts of preparations. Yet you're allowed to do it on Yontif. That's the food, but to make a kli, Rabbi Yehuda says you can, and we
you
hold
can do
that you can.
because you.
Okay, so the Mishnah says, "Ein bein Shabbos liyom Kippurim, ela shezeh zdono bidei adam." If you're mazid, you're killed through skila. The zeh zdono b'kores. But on Yom Kippur, if you're mazid in Yom Kippur, you only get kores. There's no capital punishment. Haleinyan tashlumim zeh v'zeh shavin. But regarding if you burn your neighbor's field, so we have a principle of kim lemid rabbi. If you have two eidim to tell you that you're not allowed to burn a field on Shabbos, and you go ahead and burn the field in front of eidim, so you're chayiv misa. So therefore, even though you've damaged your neighbor's field, you owe him money. You don't have to pay him. Now, that din is only regarding capital punishment, not kores. Let's see if that's so. Our Mishnah seems to imply that zev v'zeh shavim, that both Shabbos and Yom Kippur, you would also not pay. Means even though Yom Kippur is not capital punishment, but it's kores. Kores is like capital punishment, and therefore it would absolve you from a financial payment. Therefore, mani masnisen, Rav Nechuni ben Akana, the Tanya, Rav Nechuni ben Akana haya oises Yom Kippurim keshabbos l'tashlumim. He's the Tana that compared them. Ma Shabbos mischayv benafsho poter min tashlumim. Af Yom Kippurim mischayv benafsho through kores upoter min tashlumim. It's not awesome. We learn in the Mishnah called Chayave Krisos. There's 36 krisos in the Torah. You eat dam, you eat chaylev. Now, shaloku niftru midei krisosin. Let's say Bezdin went ahead and they gave malchus to the person who ate dam or chaylev. That will exempt you from kores. Shneamar v'nikla achicha le'einecha. Kivin shaloka hareu ke'achicha div Rabbi Yochanan ben Gamliel. Since he got malchus, he's like your brother, and therefore he's potter from kores. Rav Yochanan, Chalukin olav chaver Rav Chananya ben Gamliel. The Talmidei Chachamim argued with Rav Chananya. Amar Rav Amri Bei Rav. Nina ein ben Yom Kippur l'Shabbos. Our Mishnah. Shezez doina b'dei adam. Zez doina b'ikoris. Now, v'yim isa. If Rav Chananya ben Gamliel is correct in his svara, aida b'dei adam he. Well, punishment is still b'dei adam because the guy would get malchus to free him from the kores, and therefore they're both b'dei adam. It's not one b'dei adam and one is not. So Rav Nachman Amani Rabbi Yitzchak. The other malchus b'chavei krisus leka. Our Mishnah is like Rav Yitzchak, who held there is no chiyuv mal. If you violate something where there's a chiyuv kores, there's no malchus. The Tanya Rav Yitzchak Omer chavei krisus bichlal hayu. It was a general discussion of chavei krisus. Then lama yotza kores b'achoisoi. Then it says by achoisoi. It mentions kores again. The ish ki kachas achoisoi v'nechrisa. Why was it taught again? L'doina b'kores v'lo b'malchus. To tell you, you don't have the option to give them malchus. Rav Ashi Amar Afilu Temer Rabbanan. No, we don't have to learn like Rabbi Yitzchak. Ze iker's doina b'dei adam. Ze iker's doina b'dei kores. By Shabbos, the main mazid is execution. It's not always. Sometimes there's no eidim. Iker's going to be kores. Normally it's kores, but maybe you can get around it. Let me read you the Rambam. Kol misha chata v'loka. If somebody ate chalev or ate dam or slept with their sister, any of the averis, choizer l'kshe ruso. He doesn't have kores. He goes back to his regular, like being a kores regular Jew. Important halacha to know that anybody who commits an aveira where there's kores and you give them malchus, it takes away the kores. And let me read the Shulchan Aruch here. Kol malacha shechayavna le b'Shabbos, chayavna le b'Yom Kippurim. Every malacha osra on Shabbos, ma'asra on Yom Kippur. The chol b'Shabbos potter av al-osr. If it's only rabbinic, tab Yom Kippurim came. Ela sheShabbos dona b'skila, the Yom Kippurim b'kores. L'maisa yesh hevdal rak l'inyan chiyuv adam b'nizikin al chavala b'chaver b'Yom Kippurim. Shuchay b'tashlumin. She'ein halacha Rav Nachoni ben Akana. We don't paskin like Rav Nachoni ben Akana. So if you burn your neighbor's field on Yom Kippur, you do have to pay tashlumin. Mashein ken on Shabbos, because there is a difference between the din of capital punishment and the din of kores. So we learned a lot of Yesodistic halachas tonight. A lot.
Yep.
We learned a lot of just this blot had a ton of material.
In Megillah, no less.
And it's very Yesodistic.
Yeah. It was interesting because it was sandwiched into Megillah, had nothing to do, you know.
These Ein Bain, we're going to
Yeah.
see there's a whole bunch of Ein Bain Mishnayos that we're going to learn a lot of very important halachas there. Okay,
All right,
tomorrow night, 8:00, everybody.
Very good.